We love a plant haul, don't we? Hello. Wow, we're doing a different angle today. You may have noticed behind me some exotic looking stuff. We love a plant haul, don't we? There's some kind of theme here. Begonias, we've got fuchsias, we've got geraniums, we've got coleus, and we've got, look at these. Wow, look at that. A couple little more down here. Those will be for another video. So why do I have loads of exotic stuff? Because we're redoing our little seating area that is out here at the back of the garden. So you can see we've got this gunnera, we've got fern, we've got that super exotic looking hypericum there. We've got some grasses, a little heuchera here. There's this stuff, which I know depending on what zone you're in, this can be quite a pain in the butt. This is what I'm talking about. Soleus something? No, that's a part of the body. Something. I'll put the name on the screen, but it does give you that real jungle vibe. I know it can be invasive depending where you are, but here, I mean, I might outlive this. We've got some fun pots, some cordyline which I tried to save, so he's just kind of bursting back into life. We've got this flaris grass, which again can kind of run amok, but this year it's not doing so great. We've got cannas. It's been about a consistent like 18-degree average, so I can't think this is a great year for cannas. And you can see I've kind of neglected this area. There's a little sempervivum in there about to flower, which is cute. A big acanthus that I saved from a hedge and I brought it here. Hypericum. This is going to get cut down. You can see this little fern, little Xanthodeschia, that can stay for now, but obviously not doing great there. So it is quite a good thing. Go away, fly. The good thing about this video will be that it is quite a small space. You can replicate this on an apartment balcony. You can replicate this in a tiny little corner that you may have, a little patio, because essentially what is behind me is a big bricked raised bed, but you can achieve the exact same thing with pots and containers. You can get long ones, okay, and you can more or less replicate what's behind me. And if you have this type of space, be it a little square, be it a little rectangle, be it a little triangle or a circle, what we're doing today will hold true. So if you want to get something exotic looking, that will flower, that will keep you feeling lush, and enjoy kind of really into, I would say, mid-autumn to late autumn even, keep watching, and we'll do a little renovation. So you can kind of see we've gone for a very specific tone and palette. We think exotic, you know, this is kind of what we're thinking. Look at these. I love the little yellow as well. Dahlia Delegria. Ooh, that must be new. I've not seen that before. And of course, from our friend's home base, non-sponsored video, by the way. You see how many flower buds there are? That is what you want. So you can almost be guaranteed that there's a lot more flowers coming. To kind of offset that, we've got this geranium. This is called Boom Chocolate. And it's a pratense variety geranium, so it can be quite prolific, which also means quite reliable. And you can kind of see that sky blue, and again, a couple more flowers to come, which is always a good thing. Boom Chocolate, yay! I love chocolate. Not as smoky as the dahlia there, but you can see that in terms of leaf shape, we're kind of picking up very similar kind of form and structure to those leaves. I quite like that. I quite like it, okay? And there's a reason. We're trying to create, in a sense, the kind of idea is a sunset. You kind of want that exotic sunset. Something that perhaps you wouldn't guess to fit the color palette. However, where I envisioned this little fuchsia coming into play, this is called Bella Sasha. Scottish grown. Look at that. I mean, those are just lovely, exotic. Now, when we talk about exotic gardens or tropical gardens, jungle gardens, you can go with Hawaii. You could go with so many different parts of Southeast Asia. You could go Amazon. Jungle garden is not some kind of catch-all, typically. A lot of the time people are after these kind of, you know, big leaves. Or let me show you over here. People think that, well, of course, this is a jungle. You got like really kind of vivid or deep and rich greens. You've got ferns, you've got fatsias, rhododendrons, you've got painted ferns, you've got things with leaves like that. You know, you've got water. So we're taking kind of different tropical parts of the world and kind of creating our own sense of what exotic and jungle means. Back to this little fuchsia. I just love the bell with that geranium. I love the way that I thought this would sit underneath, and that blue of the geranium is kind of picked out in the bell, but that pink is probably not typically what you would put with this dahlia. Can you see that? I like tones. I like pink and red because I've seen it work. I've seen it work at times, and I think that's really interesting because it's not typically done. And I think it can work because those won't be at the same height. This fuchsia is little. Look, if we even planted them there, really where the eye is looking to that fuchsia is in the foliage, right underneath. And then as the eye will go up, we start to get the red. That's where that geranium comes in. That kind of gives our eye a little break. It kind of takes us into this. And then we have this classic begonia. I don't even know what this is. Wait, yes I do. Quick red, but I mean, it's a red begonia. So an annual here in sunny Britain, at a tray of 6. So these will be like our little plugs, our little fillers, and you can see we've got more fuchsia, geranium. Now this coleus, as soon as I saw this, I just thought, wow. So look at that with the dahlia. Now that's a combo, right? I think so. So these are, where are they? Trusty Rusty, late to flower. Now the flower is not the most interesting part of a coleus. So coleus, of course, I think, pretty sure, in the mint family, right? So it throws up this kind of salvia-esque kind of, you know, spire kind of little flower, lots of little flowers. But of course, with coleus, what you want them for is the foliage. So you're not really bothered about, you know, this late to flower. Good, better. As soon as that flower spike starts to appear, cut it off. Because of course you want the energy to be going into leaf production and giving you a nice big lovely plant, as opposed to giving you flowers. We have flowers, we don't need the coleus to give us some. So I'm going to dot these around. Yeah, do I have an idea? I don't really have an idea as to where I'm going to put this stuff. I'm going to have a little play around. Everything kind of more or less sits at the same height. Let's see what we can come up with. I'm actually going to take out this first. That should open the area up and we can kind of more see what we're doing. More see? We'll see better. It is suddenly apparent that we may have got too much. What's that looking like through there? Let's get some of this acanthus in and let's move through. Yeah, okay. And then one little coleus through there. We'll take that Xanthodeschia out. Well, you know what I'm going to say. Let's have a little think. Also, the Phalaris needs some space. Let's have a little think, step back a little bit, and I'll update you in the next clip. Right, so you can see I've removed the Xanthodeschia, potted that up in a pot with no holes actually, and I've got a little stand, so that might be a little feature. If it takes, if it works, I don't know. You can see we've kind of moved things around. Dahlia a bit more over there, you get the real green fern leaves coming in front, which just, look at, I mean the contrast is dialed up, right? Look at that. Coleus over there, and again, we don't have height. That's fine. Not everything has to be done right now. We're just working on this little part. Fuchsias to the front. We have enough space for the cannas if they want to grow. Hoping. And maybe what we actually want to do is I mean, call me crazy. That heuchera and that geranium, they're not the best bedfellows. They don't help each other out. You can see that when we do this, sorry, let's move that there. you know, the coleus and the heuchera, slightly better bedfellows. You appreciate the smokiness of that heuchera a little bit more, and you also appreciate the vibrancy of the coleus, whereas when you have similar tones, smoky, bronze smoky, and that kind of smoky, green smoky, and you can see it kind of works with the dahlia and the geranium, because the dahlia is much darker and we've kind of got a similar leaf shape. It's kind of a continuation. This works for me, so you can see what I mean. Now look, some people might only have what is framed. Let's just say from this little fern to that heuchera, or even to the coleus. Now we've got this lovely variegated grass, the flaris, coming through, and we've got a cordyline. And we've got, you know, again, if it was better weather, we'd have bigger cannas. And to be honest, if I stayed on top of my feeding a bit better, we'd have bigger cannas. This you can do anywhere. Anywhere. For the dahlia's sake, as long as you can get 6 hours of sun, you can do this. You can do this on an apartment balcony. You can do this on a very small garden. Remember, this brick stuff, this little raised bed, can easily be pots. Okay? Easily be pots. Why I keep the hypericum. Watch this, look. Can you see that bee? He's having the time of his life. All over it, just running all over that thing. That bee is having the best day of its life. Right, so a little closer look. I mean, you can see, pull out for that. Little fuchsias there. And the fern, the dahlia there. Yeah, we've still got these. We'll dot these in where appropriate, okay? I don't think it matters much where the red goes. So let's get to work. Right, so I forgot to mention, there's been so much great organic stuff being put into this soil behind me. I've just topped it up with a little bit of compost, a little bit of slightly spent compost I had in a project that didn't quite take. So I'm gonna, will I dig it in? I'm gonna lightly dig it in. Now again, only the geraniums are a permanent fixture here, and I'm not even sure if we'll keep them in this position. So nothing too demanding. Again, we're probably going to the depth of a standard size 20 odd centimeter pot. So just keep that in mind. You don't need deep, lush, rich soil for what we're doing here. Don't worry about that, okay? Right, so that's how we're looking. Boy, I tried not to step on anything. I'm going to fill in a little bit of the gaps with some begonias. And don't forget, do not forget, there was some cool pots and stuff, some little decor things, and we're going to fill with that as well, okay? So, cue the music. So I was looking over here, I was like, man, I don't remember when we set that out that there was such a space there. We forgot to plant the collie, so I'm going to do that right now. Looking a little bit more exotic, however, we've got a couple things to do. If you might remember, there's some pots. Now, these pots don't have anything in them, but they do provide some good little hidey holes for habitat. Ta-da! I'm going to put in another one. And there we go. If we go through, and then bam, a little bit of decay, a little bit of ruins. So when you're doing this, you know, sometimes it's better to put, you know, the mouth, you know, you can do this instead. And what tends to happen is, you know, that's a bit more interesting. There's a bit more of a sense of, you know, you kind of want to go in there. You're kind of anxious. It kind of gives you an emotional response. You know, it's that emotional response. And that's kind of what I feel like different styles of garden give you. You know, the sense of the exotic. Break it down. I mean, apart from choosing plants and what plants mean to you, what you prefer. You know, some people out there might hate dahlias, some people out there might hate coleus. That's absolutely fine. Those plants don't have to be part of your exoticism or your jungle. But what I do feel is vital or imperative to getting that sense or that identity of jungle is beyond the plants. It's philosophy, it's the sense of adventure, it's the sense of the unknown. It's getting that emotional response by almost being slightly frightened or being enveloped, you know, having this big canopy overhead. Yeah, that's kind of what Gunnera gives you, this massive leaf to be under, and you feel small. I think those things are core. However, we've not gone big here, and you don't need to go big to create that jungle. We've kind of done it here. Little plants, a slight sense of the exotic. Anyone can do this anywhere. This could be containers. Very, very small space. We're just going to add, I think, one more thing. So this is our Xanthodeshi that we took out. That pot has no holes and it's in a pot cover. I'm hoping it doesn't get knocked by wind. I don't think it should. You can see when we step back, it's a little rough and ready, but that's kind of what exotic and jungle and hidden kind of means. You know, there's a sense of drama, there's a sense of story. As things grow, you know, this will look ever more dense, ever more full, ever more exotic. But you know, little stand, you know, a cool little pot you can find. You know, you can find things like this cheaply, make them even, and you too can quite simply create this. When it comes to, you know, that type of stuff, that's a luxury, that's an accessory. I understand those things cost money, and for a lot of people, you know, that's, you know, money on a decoration like that might not mean much, but I mean, look, you can find stuff like this on Free Cycle. You can find you know, stuff like this on the side of the road. Make it yours, think of your garden, make it jazzy. Add stuff like this, because look, I think that looks pretty cool. So thanks for watching. I've got a lot of ideas for series when it comes to, you know, things like a budget gardening series, a series where I take you through fully from, you know, literally starting with just lawn or bare earth, and I take you exactly through each and every single process as a beginner gardener in order to create, you know, a border, you know. And there's shorts as well, so if you haven't checked out the shorts, check them out. I'll be doing a lot more kind of talking to camera, you know, again, beginner gardening ideas, you know, maybe best 5 kind of beginner tools that you need. Again, so you don't waste your money on stuff that you don't need. And there will be shorter videos, but as well, if you've been enjoying this long form vlog stuff, where you know, we're kind of just hanging out and we're gardening together, these will still be part of what I intend going forward. And the short form stuff, you can either do YouTube shorts, I'll post them there, or I now have a TikTok. I know, but you can see the shorts there as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment about what you think, if this was of any help, and thanks. Cheerio.